Weather today is nice. It's really nice, warm. It's a bit hazy up there. I don't think it's trails. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any distinct stripe patterns, and I've been up quite early today, and I didn't really see any lines being sprayed or anything. So I don't know. Maybe it's still from last night or something. But yeah, it's just this hazy stuff up there, but it's not like a big gray soup. It's not all covered up. Plenty of blue sky. Very low wind, but it is nice. Wish it would just the wind would blow a little bit more. That would be perfect. But I mean, it is what it is. It's hot. And I mean, the plants are really enjoying it. Because they got plenty of water, and now this sun, they just like it. Also, tons of bugs flying around. All kinds. All the different types of bugs. It's all over the place. Including really big bumblebees too. I've seen them. Which is always a good sign. I like really big bumblebees. They're great. And yeah, it's becoming a more tenable temperature in here. It was really hot, but I mean, yeah, I had an appointment, so I've been actually outside a lot. To be fair, I would get a great time talking to a very nice blonde lady basically surrounded in a garden. So what a great morning. Yeah. And I feel pretty good. Not just because of that, but because I just feel generally good. Yeah. Replenished yesterday. Show went great. I mean, I had a blast during the show, and I mean, hey, if you watched the show, then you know. I mean, yesterday's show was great. I was in a really good mood, very esoterically inspired, and yeah, definitely worth watching if you hadn't already. Yeah, got plenty of clips too. A whole bunch of them. Whoa, a ton of them actually. And plenty is still happening out there in the world. But yeah, I'm starting my show late, and I did announce that yesterday that was gonna happen. It got even later than I thought it would. But I mean, yeah, the appointment like basically flew by. Because it was just so relaxed. It felt like we were talking like half an hour, but it turned out to be an hour and 50 minutes. So but yeah, I'm doing good. The world is on high tension in many ways. A lot of alarm bells going off very heavily with a lot of people. Basically lots of new fresh trauma being tapped into, but I mean, it's necessary, I guess, for those that are just really hard to get to, that really think they can stay out of the world situation entirely. Yeah, oh man, I bumped into this it was a long video. I almost want to play all of it, but it was just enormous. It's like 30 minutes, and it's basically, yeah, it's a Swedish post, but it's in English. This is like a speech in the Euro Parliament that actually predicts, like, guys, how the civil war in Britain is gonna break out. And this is like an official thing. It's crazy It's shocking, and he stays so calm, so neutral, so precise, and it's just like, holy shit, this whole thing has all been calculated in. And these guys are actually trying to warn us about it. Like, this is what has been foreseen, this is what's gonna happen, and just like a mastery in social engineering, as in understanding how things work, the dynamics of social unrest and all that. It was so detailed, incredible. This happened like in April. I think it passed by me back then, and it was just, I didn't have to focus. So I was just like, oh my god, of course. And then just didn't watch it, but I watched it entirely, and it's really impressive. It's, oof. And I mean, guys, I have not been off. I have not been off at all. It's fascinating that some of the things they say are basically things that I've been saying. I wonder how that happened. Because I have not watched this before. Even though it's like 2 months ago. It's just, yeah, it shocks me to just notice how close I got it. Just doing my esoteric thing, just being an oracle. And it's like, yeah, I called it in a lot of ways. But it's fascinating because these guys are just, they've got a lot of very precise data available to them in these studies, and they're very focused, and so it's like they basically supply a big picture that transcends my own oversight. And that is like, well, that logically impresses me. So yeah, I might share some of this later, but I'm not gonna get to it right away. It's also serious and intense. But yeah, let's first start with the obvious. Keir Starmer celebrations. Let's play this for, it's just short. It's an old meme. People will recognize it.
Has been about putting the country I love.
Oh really, really? You're gonna do that to the 15-second clip? Oh my god. X, you can just suck so much sometimes. Not really though. I'm very happy with X. But I mean, it's fucking annoying though when this happens. Come on. Right. Let's just play this here.
Has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
And it's not actually exaggerated.
Has been about putting the country I love first.
God, this guy. What a monster. Ugh. He's gone. But I mean, he's literally just a puppet. In this function, he's just a puppet. And another guy is gonna come in his place, and he's probably gonna be like identical. Maybe slightly less obnoxious, but I mean, it doesn't really matter because policy-wise, it's gonna be the same crap. They're gonna keep pushing it. And they're gonna basically probably try to find some safe exit for Keir Starmer, and that's why my first message is don't let him leave the country. Yeah? Yeah, not until this is all over. Right? Anyway, but still, you know, we can have a little celebration. But it's definitely not all over. Right. Yeah, more stuff coming out of Albania. Like they are keeping it going, man. Maybe let's show the protest thing first. This is a march 1 million Albanians. It's like 1/17 of the entire country, literally, physically there. It's just, whoa. And this is not AI generated, by the way. I don't know how to check that, but everybody in there saying it's not. Just look at that. So many people. Just whoa. Right, and they're crossing some lines, and I'm liking it. So here's that, just literally just rolling these quick-made buildings for the workers of the whole Kushner program and all that. Oh, God damn it, get out of here. Literally trashing it. That's what the Albanians do with the Israeli settlements. Huh? Because they paid attention. Yeah, these guys don't fuck around. Revolution. And there's a lot of chimping out happening too. It's like they know like the time is coming to an end, so they're just like trying to grab as much indulgence in their disgusting behavior as they can. Also, there's just a lot of clips of this pretty psycho movie going around. I mean, it's very impressive though. It reminded me of Falling Down, but like a modern incarnation, and it's way more brutal. It's like a combination. I don't know what to compare it to, but it's basically just like a one-man super assassin mega xenophobe guy, and he's like super cold, and it's kind of impressive, but it's also crossing lines a little bit far. Okay, a bit far. I mean, it was like banned from Germany, and like, oh, why could that be? Yeah, because it's very relevant to Germany. Very, very relevant. And it is a bit of a sign that people don't really understand, but I mean, I know for a fact that there are actually people like that out there. And they're very smart. And they're very secretive. I've had the pleasure to meet some of them, and I was very, like, I'm very glad I had my senses to me, because you have to be very careful with these people. They're very, very distrusting for obvious reasons, but I mean, they're actually out there. It's a thing, and they never do anything until they do what's absolutely necessary, and then everything changes. And it is a good chance it's gonna happen. And that movie is like a forebode of it. I mean, people think that's just cartoonish. Oh, it's just revenge porn. It's like, yeah, keep telling yourself that. Yes, sure. But yeah, I mean, technically it does fall under revenge. What the hell is the name? I don't know. It is like it's something like the executioner or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just like it's a killing spree type of thing, and well, it's better than this freaking psycho trans school shooting crap. It's nothing like that. I mean, because that's just disgusting and deranged and completely pointless and just fucking evil. Just evil. And often also racist against whites on top of that, and it all sucks. That sucks. This is like whitey revenge. They really try to make it like that. And I mean, I get it. But I mean, it's crossing a couple of lines a little bit too far. But I mean, maybe that's the point of it. It's just like, yeah, fuck it. But I mean, it's no point. It becomes porn. It becomes revenge porn, and it's not healthy. Like it discharge. It's in a way, it's actually ironically a grabbler trick to do that. Yeah. Because we are all loaded. We have seen too much. There's too much shit out there, and just me bringing it up without even mentioning probably sparking a bunch of people's PTSD at this point. But I mean, everybody's used to it happening all the time. But it's not normal, guys. That's not normal. It's the tension is loaded, and people are all losing their patience. They're noticing and they're losing their patience, and they're just fortifying their spirit, fortifying their hearts. Hardening. But I mean, that you have no choice, or you have to be super capable of just evading all information, and yeah, that only lasts so long, because some people are charging up, and when that's gonna unload, it's then the world changed forever. At least for that time being. Because I mean, we can always fall back. I mean, this is basically in many ways a repeat of exactly what happened 100 years ago. Okay. It's the same pattern, and so I could say the world's gonna change forever. Yeah, the way it is now versus right after, yeah. But I mean, doesn't mean it can't come back, okay? And that's almost the sad part about it. Because the real trick is not just doing what is absolutely necessary when you have no other choice. It's how do we find a way through this? How can we come out on the other side and not right away fall back into the same old trick playbook? Because they have them. They have the playbooks ready. It's like they will give us like the victory and then play on us and then try to pull us right back through the same shit that Hitler got rolled into and tricked into. It's the same crap. Okay, hello MB in the house. I don't know what the hell that means, what you just said, but whatever. If it's some code, I don't know the code. I'm not even into codes. I'm into absolute truth. But I have like confidentiality though, and I have that very strongly. I have it. Well, it's basically if I wouldn't, I'd probably be dead. I would have been dead a long time ago. Okay. It was the only way I could learn and actually see these things to be real. That was the only way to do that. So I don't know any codes. I don't even know the frickin' Freemason codes, man. I should probably. I tried it for a little bit, but I mean, it's just no point. There's no point in trying to. Like, I'm not gonna be part of a society. No secret society, and that's not me fucking virtue signaling. It's just I can't do it. It can't handle the strain. I can't do it. I just can't. But I mean, in a way, I'm almost like I'm open to cooperate with them, though. I understand for some things the necessity of a secret society. But I mean, I'm not gonna hand in that part of my soul. Even though, yeah, for some that is definitely worth it. And you can operate like that and then fulfill a greater purpose. I get it. It's not my path. If I do that, I can't do what I'm good at. Okay. A cat. Is that some special internet famous cat or whatever? You got a couple of like cats that get a lot of internet attention out there. Cafe cats and all that. I've seen it. They're very cute. And they're interesting because they're always like, yeah, cafe cats. They do. It's like they're a theater performer. They always act like they're on a stage. They're like there to attract people and to be charming and all that. It's funny. Yeah. Cafe cats. If that's what you're talking about, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what the hell you're saying. Dude. I mean, to me, what I'm reading there, it just seems like you're in a heat stroke or something. Like it's just jibba jabba. Don't make no sense to me. Like, what's the point? What does it have to do with anything? That's why I immediately assumed you were like trying to talk to in code to me or something. It's just like it doesn't make no fucking sense what you're saying, man. For fuck's sake. Anyway. Revolution is brewing. There's some crazy ass movie out there and there's clips all over X and it's super revenge porn. But I mean, it was sleek though. It was very carefully thought through. It also wanted to be a bit like the movie that made the Guy Fawkes mask so famous. It wanted to be a little bit like that, but it also had this feel of the Vatican assassin movie, that feel to it. But I mean, it was basically just a revenge, like clean cut revenge porn, where it's like really like, yeah, crossing all the lines, like fuck you. It's basically just a big fuck you, and in that sense, it's kind of funny. It is really like the ultimate fuck you to idiot gay communists, basically. That's what it's doing. But I mean, it's not functional though. 15 years. That's an old cat. That's a very old cat. Yeah. You know, often I wish that cats wouldn't have such a short life. But then again, they get a lot of babies, you know? But I mean, it would be pretty sweet if you got cats that were just like identical to these cats, the same size, except they, and I mean, I'm not saying that we can even achieve this through breeding or anything, but that would just typically get way less kittens, but they'd live like 2.5 times as long average. A cat that could just live 40 years, I mean, that would be amazing. You could have like just a cat that's with you your entire life. I mean, it would be, I mean, it's not going to be like 80. I mean, I don't think even like tigers and lions live that long. It's just the feline species, they are all relatively short-lived compared to a lot of other bigger animals. It's kind of weird. But I mean, yeah, I wish cats lived longer. But then they would definitely have to get less young, otherwise it would be problematic. I mean, they're kind of problematic already, even with their short lifespan. There's always more cats. Anyway, yeah, you're distracting me. You're distracting me, this silly daily life stuff. But it's fine. Hey, whatever you want to talk about. But I mean, it's weird to me though. It's sometimes I just think people in my chat are just weird. Like either they're heavily sedated or something, or they just, or it seems like they're speaking in code, or they're just trying to troll me. But I don't think you're typically a guy that tries to troll me. But still weird. But yeah, paying a visit to an old cat. I get it. I love cats. There's like a white cat over here, and he's kind of getting old too, and it's very saddening because I really love that animal. And I don't like him losing his youth. Like, it's a bummer, because he was like mega agile, so quick, so full of like fury in a way. It's like a very passionate cat. Like in the beginning years, he would like bite anybody that would stroke it, because he would just get too like aroused up by it immediately. It was just so bursting with energy. And now he's getting older, and he's just really, he's still enthusiastic at night, but he just doesn't have that fury anymore. I'm gonna be really sad if he dies of old age, because it's basically been my substitute cat since my old cat died in 2014. I can't believe it's that long ago. Oh, hello, fellow flat earthers. Hi. Yeah. I'm very wary, by the way. I mean, there's Discord, there's a lot of trolls going around again. They're all, I don't know what the fuck happened to them. They all got triggered, and so they need to have distractions in trying to bully people about stupid shit so they could, in their own delusion, feel like they're on top of something. I mean, that must be it. There's no other way. They're all coming out, and they're all just like, oh, ready to start ad-homing and whining and bitching and ugh. Yeah. Let's not get into that. I'm gonna mostly avoid them. It's just a waste of my time. Who cares about trolls? Yeah, I know. But I mean, when they try to get in your way all the time, you do have to, you kind of can't help it but care a little. There's no globe argument, so they just troll. Yeah. And I mean, they don't even bring up anything. I only noticed that they're Glober trolls because they make like, oh, it's just a stupid flat earther, which is like, oh my god, it's so dumb when you do that. It's literally like a guy with a colored wig and a clown's nose and makeup on just saying, ha ha ha, you're a clown, you're a clown. That's what that is. At least to us, and to anybody, people that not necessarily get into it, but that at least are neutral and honest, that have looked into flat earth and the globers, how that works, they can see that too. Like, even they know it. Like, that's a clown pointing at somebody and telling them they're a clown. It's so pathetic. It's so dumb. It's laughable, except it's gotten old so much That's just, you can't really, you should be laughing at it because it's so silly and so ridiculously ironic, but it's just not funny anymore because it's happened too much. It's like a really, really funny movie that you get to see every day for 10 years straight. Yeah, it's not going to be funny anymore. Maybe sometimes because you just like, ugh, you feel like animated giggle, but not really though. It just gets old, man. Just like Alex Jones's bragging gets old. Sorry, it never gets old actually making fun of how Alex Jones is bragging. I don't know why I still think that's funny after 10 years. But I do. Okay, and I'm not the only one. It was the weirdest thing too, because he literally played the ads of it. This guy called Frank calling in and complaining how Alex Jones was always bragging, and then Alex got really triggered, and it was so funny, and he was perplexed at the time why people were responding so heavily. He was like shocked, like, why are you thinking this is so funny? I don't understand. He was like actually having cognitive dissonance over it. It's like, why do you all think it's so funny? Okay, I'm just gonna roll it out then. And it was so fucking funny. I laughed over that shit for like half a year straight. It was insane. I mean, it was insane on my side too, doing that. But I wasn't the only one. And it's still funny now. And Alex has only gone bragging more. And it's all getting meta because they're even like putting jokes about bragging in their ads now again. And I don't care. I'm still gonna do it. It's like, you can't make it not funny to me. Because it's true. And Alex is bragging. And it's like, but it's okay. He earned it. He earned his bragging, but it's still bragging. Sorry. I know most people that watch my show don't give a shit about that. I do, though. I can't help it. I mean, I've been watching Alex Jones for like 20 years. It can't stop. You can't make me stop. It doesn't matter how ridiculous he is about some things. It doesn't matter how much of a statecraft propagandist he basically is. It doesn't matter, because I can just see through it, and then there's still a lot of valuable things, and it's just a character, man. It's like a book that never ends. Like, you can't stop reading now. You gotta see it through. I want to see it all the way. I want to see Alex Jones the rest of my life. Although not every day. Sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, Alex, why? Why do you always have to like keep emphasizing the most atrocious, horrifying, satanic, psycho things you could possibly encounter? And I mean, that shit is going on, but then he's like always like, yeah, detailed description in your face. I'm sorry trying to gross you out, but I'm trying to gross you the fuck out. Yeah, that is what you're doing, Alex. God. But I guess it's just fucking necessary, otherwise it's not gonna sink through. There's some things out there that are so horrible that I will never in detail start mentioning about them, but you get that shit shoved in your face over at Alex Jones sometimes when it comes out. And then it's always like, oh my god, I wish I never knew that, but I mean, okay. Time to muscle some more with the cognitive dissonance, because you can't keep that in the forefront of your mind or you go fucking insane, but you can't really completely forget it either. You shouldn't, because I mean, it is an alarm sign. This is like, this is the parameter that just tells you this is how bad it's getting, and it's gonna get worse, and you don't want to imagine what that means, but you're gonna face it anyway. You better deal with it now before it becomes so out of reach that you can't even assimilate it at all. And then you're fucked, because then you truly become cognitively dissonant dislocated in a permanent way that when you break that, you actually go insane, and there is no way back when that happens. So better to basically, it's like trying to get used to cyanide. It's just slow dose, not, well, it's not really slow dosing anymore, but it is basically just dosing the most horrifying shit. So you can handle it. You don't just suddenly get to know about it when you really can handle it. God. But I don't recommend it. Sometimes watching Alex Jones is just plain horrific. But it is true, though. And he is also getting more careful with just doing tricks with it, as in presenting the horror and then bending your anger towards a specific goal, which is, it is an atrocity. It's evil when people do that. It's understandable, but it doesn't make it less evil. It is manipulating on feelings, and you shouldn't actually do that. And Alex is much more careful with it now, because that's also part of statecraft, and he was just using it. He learned it and he just used it. It's just his thing. It's like, for him, it's probably like, okay, it's rolling out, I'm sharing it, you got to do something with it. Can't just let people go into hopelessness. So bend the energy towards something. But I mean, you shouldn't actually do that like that. Anyway, I'm still gonna watch him. Sometimes it's just too much. But I mean, it's interesting though to really put it next to get together, right? That remember the Assassin movie that all the clips are going around, and then the horrors that sometimes Alex Jones shoves in your face about things that really happen in detail, the detail that you don't want to know and that you definitely never want to see in any video, even AI. It's just, and then yeah, when you put those together, it's like, yeah, I mean, the assassin thing is fiction. The other thing is real. And then you wonder, like, yeah, I mean, if the assassin thing becomes real, that would actually quite match on an equal level. That is the actual moral, logical response, in a way. And that's the most fucked up thing about it, is that the moral system compels us to take very, very dramatic action, but the way society works has become so sophisticated and so caught in busy details that it's like impossible to give the proper moral response, and by that everything is cursed. You get locked in, you become imprisoned, because now having a logical moral response means you literally lose everything that you sacrifice so much to hold on to. And that threshold is extremely high. Like that typically, and I mean, the video, by the way, that's in the political video that I'm going to play a bit later, basically explains that threshold is extreme, and it usually requires like somebody you directly know, your family, somebody, your little sister or something, to just actually get brutally murdered, and then the murderer, though caught by the police, is released like immediately. Like that's usually the type of threshold that has to be crossed before people go to actually saying, okay, fuck it, I'm laying it all down, justice must be met, anything, I'll do anything, right, even if I die, kind of thing. And that threshold's being crossed. That's already happening. And there are people out there that are in minor ways, more in gang-like ways, are doing that. Especially like the Irish, I'm noticing. It's like, oh, Irish, fucking badass, man. You guys crush it. And I mean, it's like, oh, you're so intolerant. Fuck that. No, totally justified. Totally. And they're not being like really disgusting about it. It's fascinating to behold these videos, like all the spiritual metadata, the details of how they do it, like the spirit that they have as they do it. Like they have like a high action honorable code that's like automated. It's the Irish way. It's fascinating. Brutal, but honorable. It's just very fascinating. And I can respect that. I definitely respect that on a deeper level. Right, anyway. And yeah, and I mean with the British, I don't know. I think the British, once they crush that threshold, which is much higher, it could be much more vicious. It will be much more closer to the frickin' Assassin movie, where they will just say, okay, now everybody dies. And I mean, maybe at this point that is inevitable. I mean, the politician in the speech basically agrees with that and says that it's inevitable, absolutely inevitable, and even when it happens, there's no guarantee they can even win because they're so outnumbered. That was like probably the most shocking out of the entire video. Right? But I mean, it didn't incorporate the potential that other parties might start to get involved. Like, for example, America. Or like that maybe the Irish and or the Scottish would literally join the British in their revolution. Cross the ocean. Right? Because it's necessary. Because they know if the British don't make it, then they're going to be fucked eventually again. They'll just keep coming in waves. So they have to do it. Anyway, it's intense. Intense, man. I kind of want to play the video, but it's so long I shouldn't just do that right away. Maybe later. Anyway, it's already been 43 minutes. Hope everybody's enjoying the show. Don't forget to Rogan's it up. Trying to stay focused on a cohesive train of thought, but my videos are going all over the place though. Some Tartaria stuff, some revolution stuff. Oh, dude, the Dutch lefties are fucking nuts. They're weirdos, and it's different. They're weirdos in a very different way. It's kind of surreal. Here they're doing a thing, and it almost just looks like a shamanic ritual or something. It's like, what the fuck are they doing? I don't get it. But I mean, in a way I do get it. It's almost kind of interesting, but I mean, they're still such freaking weirdos. But I mean, at least they're not all just pink-haired freaks full of tattoos, and they don't like dress up like they're Satan or something, so I guess that's a plus. But they're still weirdos. And then again, I'm kind of a weirdo myself, but I mean, not like this though. Anyway, let's take a look at it. Have fun with that. Alrighty then. Maybe they learned it from the New Zealanders or something. There might be a connection there. Now that I'm thinking of it, it really does seem kind of like they looked at the New Zealander rituals, they like their national anthem and rituals and things. It's just like very fascinating. I like it. I like the New Zealand thing. It's interesting, and it's like whites doing that, and they got it from old tribes that are still around. So it's a very old thing, and it just looks like the Dutch have been inspired by the New Zealanders and the lefties, and they're trying to like erect some kind of spirit there. Which is in a way, very strange and unpredictable what that can actually do. You see, they might be waking up some really old spirits doing that, because it's, yeah, it's not just fantasy. When the New Zealanders do that, they actually call upon ancestral spirits, and that actually works. It works. It's very tangible. Yeah. Every time they do it, they don't get fucked. It does something. It's a real effect. It's an energy, spiritual effect. And these lefties might be calling upon something that they don't probably agree to what it's going to be about. So you might want to think about that before you start calling ancestral spirits. They might not exactly agree to your spirits. But on the other hand, maybe the lefties are just having a weird... They become so left that they're gonna flip around to the other side or something. I don't know, man. These people are considered typically to be clinically insane with this. And yeah, I can say that. Because it's just really strange. And they don't really know what they're doing. They're inspired by something, but then they're just copying it. And you don't just... Like, it doesn't work like that, man. You can't just do that. I mean, you can. But if you're just gonna go around like a flock of parrots and they just start mimicking whatever inspires you, you don't necessarily understand the consequences of that, because some things invoke spirits, invoke certain things. Like, doing things has effects. And a lot of these lefties have no idea about that. Some of them do, but most of them don't. Not really. They're just into the group thing. They're just so into the group thing. They just can't help themselves. They just like anything novel. But, I mean, they might be invoking things that they might not necessarily agree to. Consciously. But then again, yeah, when you call upon a spirit like that, and it gets to you, whether you even realize it or not, that spirit can start changing your mind. So that might be a very fascinating side effect that nobody's really foreseen, except me, Arwin. Yeah? Wouldn't that be funny if I turned out to be right by that? With that? But I mean, they're weirdos. And I thought it was funny enough to share. Like, this is what Dutch lefties do these days. And I mean, I'm just glad they're not all tattooed, pierced up, pink-haired freaks, you know? And they don't dress up like literal devils. So it's like, oh, thank God it's not that bad yet. Or there are some of those out there, but they're not so in your face anymore. These are rather more the normie leftists, but they're just as crazy. They just don't look as crazy. They might still think they're normal. The ones that dress up like demons obviously know that they are crazy and demonic, and they're just giving it their all. These people might still think that they're normal. Anyway. Lefties. What can you do? Oh yeah, that was fascinating. Don't know if I'm gonna play that. But yeah, this guy, Johannes M. Koenraad, he's a fascinating guy. He has like really interesting knowledge about history and peoples of Europe and all that. German people, German habits. It's just interesting. It's like a history guy. Great stuff. Like, that's valuable information. He's actually getting the valuable things out of it. Right? That can still technically fit, even if the timeline's been all fucked up and scrambled and things have been removed. Then it still is valuable, because this is like what they're like. So then, yeah, it's the setting, not the rollout. You know, just little factoids in history don't matter shit and often have been twisted. But what a people is like and their habits, and that is often just very real. Because if parts of it are made up, then you'll start to see through it. And there has been propaganda. Yeah? In the past too, entire people would have propaganda about another people that were just straight out lies. Happen all over the place. Vatican is notorious for doing that. Anyway. Oh yeah. Interesting. Viruses are fake clips. It's always good to see that. Anyway, let me try to get back. What was I talking about? Yeah, the revolution. I don't even know how to put this in the title again. Maybe at this point I am just starting to repeat myself with this subject. But I mean, it's such a hot item right now, and not like, oh, I want the clicks. It's just there's so much happening in the spirit realm. People are undergoing spiritual transformation. They're being subjected to it. The awakening is forcing its way up. And the action, right? Awakening is forcing its way up, and Archangel Michael is released and is driving action. And then there's, of course, Ahriman right around the corner, ready to receive those that lose control. This is a very dangerous time overall, very tense. But it's a catalyst. It's a catalytical situation where it is going to go into a full-blown chain reaction. And I mean, again, that political video absolutely emphasizes that. I should just freaking play that thing at this point. Maybe we'll just do that and eat a croissant. Let's just start a bit.
So the first one to take the floor is Professor David J. Betts of King's College in the United Kingdom. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. The title of tonight's talk, I can see on the screen, has a question mark at the end of it, and I don't think it needs to be there, because I believe that Europe is on track for civil war, and I'll explain why that is the case in a moment. For a start, though, I would like to address a question that almost always comes up when people accept the argument presented to them, which is, in which country, David, do you think this is going to happen first? The short answer is that it's a very tight race. Sweden, France, Germany, Spain, Britain, others are all strong contenders to win this dismal race. But if forced to guess, with all respect to my co-panelist, I would choose Ireland, because it has a relatively recent history of civil conflict.
Yeah, I mean, did he call that or what, by the way, right? This is in April. Well, it happened. It happened exactly as he said. A lot of things have, which should shock you even more when you hear the detail of what he's all laying down here. Anyway, let's continue.
The tradition of nationalist martyrdom and a spectacularly tone-deaf political establishment. The extended answer, though, is that it doesn't really matter too much who goes first, because once it kicks off any place, it is quite likely to spread to every place. One of the strongest predictors of the likelihood of civil war occurring in any country is whether there is one occurring in a neighboring country. In my talk this evening, I'm mostly going to talk about Britain, because that's the case I know most well. I live there, and most of my detailed research is on that subject. Wherever you are from in Western Europe, however, you will recognize elements of what I'm talking about, I'm certain, from your own national experience. Moreover, should some of you be from even more distant quarters of the Western world, the United States or Canada or even far off Australia, I know that you will feel something the same. The matter is, in my opinion, in the largest sense, that the crisis of the Western world today is a kind of civilizational hangover brought on by the slow-motion collapse of the modern project, which began something over 200 years ago. I say all that now at the start because while I'll be talking about recent polls and studies and newspaper headlines of recent vintage showing matters of concern and the like, it is important to stress that the most important drivers of the coming civil war are structural and long-term. It took a long time to break the foundations of Western self-belief, prosperity, and competency. If you care about those things, you are likely very, very angry. As Karl Popper warned, unlimited tolerance must result in the destruction of tolerance itself. So that anger is understandable.
Karl Popper gets it.
If you feel it. It will take a long time to fix the damage that has been done, and in answer to the questions that have just been posed, I'm not sure it is in fact possible to fix it. Let's get to Britain. Britain today is in the condition of what the American writer Samuel Francis called anarcho-tyranny. This may be defined as a condition of government which combines two apparent opposites. First, oppressive power against the innocent, and second, paralysis in performing core duties of government. This may be seen most obviously in the generation-long failure to prevent, to punish, or even to seriously investigate the mass rape, trafficking, torture, and murder of primarily white working-class children by primarily Pakistani community-based sexual torture networks, combined with the increasing determination to repress the habitually law-abiding native population through censorship, through hate crime enforcement, through social engineering, and frankly, 1984 levels of surveillance. More generally, every aspect of the political economy is in crisis or in incipient ruin. Nothing works. Britain has been broken. Who broke it? Why did they break it? Whether it deserved to be broken? Over these matters, people may argue. Over the essential premise, however, I don't think there's much room for debate. So where does that lead us? Broken Britain, or indeed shattered Britain, as a recent report put it, are common ways of describing the current situation. The appropriate academic term is factionalized, which is worth briefly defining conceptually. Factionalism is a condition of society in which the titular group, the titular nation, tribe, what have you, divides or splits into smaller, nearly always competing subgroups that pursue their own interests and their own goals as a greater priority than, or sometimes in direct contradiction with, those of the larger group. You can consider it a spectrum. On the one end of the spectrum, you have normal politics, followed by contentious politics, then comes issue factionalism, polar factionalism, militancy, and then civil war.
You could also call it balkanization. Comparative pattern.
Normal politics doesn't need a lot of explanation. Under normal political conditions, nobody bothers to question legitimacy. It's a fundamental assumption. As an example of contentious politics, you might consider 2011's Occupy Wall Street and other global anti-austerity movements. Issue factionalism is when competing groups start to form around discrete substantive issues such as abortion or the death penalty. Polar factionalism occurs when political competition shifts from disagreement over specific issues to entrenched symbolic identity cleavages. Sustained polar factionalism produces social breakdown, which is typified by the emergence of militancy, which is effectively organized coercive action. Unless government, by whatever means at that stage, restores its legitimate monopoly of violence, then the next step is civil war. Britain currently is in a state of polar factionalism. It's not quite at the point of societal breakdown, but we are already observing outbreaks of militancy from some groups, most recent example of this being the torching in London of 4 ambulances funded by the Jewish community. At this point, it's worth going back for a moment to Francis's concept of anarcho-tyranny, because it's very important, I think, to note that anarcho-tyranny arises not simply out of incompetence, but because elite interests are served by weakening self-government, by eroding traditional institutions and middle-class stability. To reiterate, the current explosive configuration of society did not occur naturally, nor did it arise democratically. It developed as a direct result of elite choice. More than any other issue, as we've heard, policy on immigration exposes the duplicity of elites and the resulting depth and breadth of the canyon between governments and the governed. Since 1945 in Britain, both the Conservative and Labour parties repeatedly promised in their election manifestos to deliver only managed and controlled immigration, yet both oversaw net mass migration exceeding 200,000 annually for about 17 years each.
Yeah, let's hold it for there. It's what a speech. Like, this whole thing is that intense. It's 25 minutes long total. But this is a freaking academic. Like, this is somebody that's actually speaking with intellectual authority. Yeah. And it's just the beginning. Intense. I'm gonna put it on break because my computer is having a bit difficulty with the heat, and so it's starting to like get weird and noisy, hampering. Manually cool off my computer. And now it's going back. Anyway, so yeah, hour into the show. Hope everybody's appreciating it. I'm later than normal. And I'm playing videos, but I do feel really good. And yeah, there's an advantage to streaming it a little bit later than normal because it's a lot cooler in here. That's actually quite pleasant. So I hope you're all having a good day. Don't forget to Rogan's it up if you're liking the show. Or, don't. You could just not do that too, right? Although, these days, every show, yeah, from 2 days ago, no Rogan's up. I don't know, what is up with that? Whatever. Just do it. Hey, a bunch of days ago I had a whole ton of Rogan's it up from people. That was nice. Like from 2669. Yeah. But again, there were more people in the chat, I think, back then. Maybe, yeah, a lot of people probably think it's too warm to watch Arwen. I get it. Whatever. Maybe you'll watch later. Let's take a short look around, see what's going on. Jesus. That is so evil. Ukraine seems to be more. It's heating up, man. They really want to get exterminated. I mean, at this point, I just can't imagine that Russians wouldn't all be yelling, "Just fucking nuke them! Just nuke them! Just nuke them! Just do it! Just fucking kill them all!" If they don't stand up and just go into full-blown revolution and kill them off, like, then why would we let them live at this point, any of them? But I mean, yeah, that would not be good. And then also, yeah, nukes are not actually real. But I mean, they got plenty of missiles, and hey, Russia can also send drones. Yeah, if they wanted to, they could like send probably 1 million drones into there and literally just blow up every single building in Ukraine. Just everything. So it might just as well be like a nuke. Or maybe they can potentially use swarms of drone to effectively do fire bombings, which is what a nuke really is. But yeah, I've never even thought of that, you know? Like, who needs to drop a bunch of fire bombs from planes and risk planes getting shot down when you can like do it with a giant swarm of drones? Instead of just some basic explosive, you drop a firebomb with them, and then like thousands and thousands of them. It'll be just as effective. Then I don't know, maybe they're gonna do it, maybe not. But yeah, now fucking Ukraine just blew up the thermal plant, a thermal power plant, just using earth heat. That is so evil to do that. I mean, that's basically an equivalent of blowing up a dam. What the hell, man? Like, that shit is really tough to build. Because they have to like dig and all that, and it has to be safe, and like it might never be able to be rebuilt. It's so evil to do that, and like half of Crimea is without electricity because of it. This is... yeah, it's from 2 days ago. Crimea is in real trouble. They're just in a crisis. They don't have power. They don't have fuel. That's just really evil. I mean... how much more? How much more of this crap is Ukraine gonna do? But maybe I've heard some signs though that Russia is like recruiting big time also. So they might just send a 10 million strong army and just completely overrun Ukraine soon. To really take all of it. And that will have massive casualties, but it will succeed. It just statistically will. I hope it's worth it. It's not going to be the last time that something like this is going to happen, but maybe they'll be more preemptive next time and not let this happen to any neighboring country again. Alright. Okay, I'm getting off track here. Just got distracted by that news article. So it just popped in my face. Sorry, I was just reading something that was interesting. But it's all in Dutch. It's about somebody got fired over at the Vatican as soon as he said that the gods were basically Elohim physical beings. And it's like, yeah, they're the shapers. That's what it is. And I mean, yeah, there is just saying like, oh, Christian, this would completely change the view on how Christians look at it. And I mean, I guess it's just the same thing that I've gone through, right? That's why I call it following the path. And I don't take like the teachings of what the priests say and the Trinity and all that. I completely discard that. Like, it literally doesn't mean anything to me. It's just no weight there. It's all peer pressure nonsense and riddles. But I mean, in this article he is basically saying like, yeah, we are descendants from giants. Like, hey, who's been saying that, huh? Who's been saying that? Yeah, the big ones. They all started with frickin' titans, and they get smaller, and then they're smaller and smaller and smaller, and in 1,000 years, if there's anything left, they're gonna be smaller than us. And they will think of us as being the giants. As we think of our not even too distant ancestors from just a couple of 100 years ago when they were still around, they were like our elders, the giants, the half-giants. And then a lot of them were kings because they had great wisdom and they lived very long. Yeah. That's all scrapped out of the books now. Oh no, this incarnation is the only one. Yeah, sure. Anyway, bumped into that. It's funny to see that there's more people doing things about, and they're writing books, and they're, oh look, oh we're so special. I'm writing a book about it. Oh, it's just I just figured it out. Yeah, I guess I could have done that too, but I'm not a grappler. I just talk about it and I keep developing it. And when I talk about it, that is my book. What I say is the book that I'm writing. And it keeps changing. That's why I don't publish it except for the recording, the live recording. So it's basically a live writing of a book that keeps updating and keeps changing. But instead of it all happening behind the scene, and then nobody getting to see any of it until the final result, you get to see the entire process, the entire development, because I put it down live. The whole thing. Everything that I'm figuring out, everything. All the development in progress, and it'll keep developing, and you get every part of it. And not just an end result, because there might not be a final end result. Actually, there's a very good chance there is not any final end result. So I won't live long enough to get there. Alright. Okay. Now, man, an hour 15 minutes in, I gotta figure out what to put in this title. Yay. Yeah, let's keep it to this. European revolutions are rolling out exactly as predicted months ago, and other stuff. Yeah, hope you're all enjoying the show. I'm gonna continue the video. Alright, hold on. Back to the video. Sorry it took so long, but hey, whatever. So let's continue.
According to Great Replacement theory, white European populations are being systematically replaced by non-white immigrants through deliberate policies of mass migration and higher birth rates amongst minorities. The idea is derided in polite company, but according to a 2023 survey in the UK, approximately 32% of adults believe it to be real. I would be astonished in 2026 if you did that poll again, if the number was not considerably greater than 32%. Is it any wonder then that so many heretofore completely normal people now talk about betrayal and so vitriolically aim the word traitor at national political leaders? I would say no. People are angry, and they are right to be so. But the people at whom they are angry are far from repentant. At the 2025 Glastonbury Festival, a scene occurred which I feel serves as a kind of microcosm of this relationship. When the musician or the band Bob Vylan sang the song, "I Heard You Want Your Country Back," to a wildly cheering crowd of elites, or elite proto-elites. Here's the song's chorus. I won't sing it to you. I'll read it. "I heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up. I heard you want your country back. You can't have that." Let us admit that these are fighting words. They are not hard to find on either side of the divide. It stands to reason that when people want to fight and actively seek to provoke that, it is a strong likelihood that a fight is going to happen. First, then, I suppose that we are on a track for a peasant revolt, a conservative uprising in which the ruled seek to punish their rulers for violating their obligations under the social contract and for changing the existing rules of the game against their wishes. It will look something like Italy's years of lead, the dirty wars of Latin America, or maybe more the troubles in Northern Ireland, but on a larger scale.
Did I call it or fucking what? Well, anyway, he called it, but I didn't know. I just, yeah, because that's what it is. It troubles. It's what it fucking is. And the academic agrees with me.
What is already a guarded society will become a radically, even more heavily fortified society as elites seek protection by more walls, more guards, and more surveillance. That is going to be bloody. In red team simulations of this sort of conflict, which we have done, we find that the red teams usually decide to target judges and media figures. In the first instance, these targets chosen on account of their relatively unguarded condition and accessibility, a product of the mistaken expectation of security on their part. Another key factor is their perceived centrality in two oft-invoked grievances: two-tier justice and media bias or media manipulation. The second thing that is going to occur is the balkanization of British life along ethnic lines. I'll slow down. The second thing that is going to occur is the balkanization of British life along ethnic lines. What I call a sortative movement is in fact already occurring, in some ways quite obviously in places like Tower Hamlets in London, Spark Hill in Birmingham, and a dozen other places across an east-west strip of the north of the country, which are already effectively ethnic enclaves, zones of negotiated policing with parallel legal systems, alternative economies, and, as the recent rape gang inquiry illuminated, zones of endemic and large-scale outgroup sexual predation. Somewhat less obvious is the acceleration of white flight from the major cities, and particularly the spread of the phenomenon to the more affluent. This is apparent in the real estate market. If you talk to real estate dealers in provincial towns which are close to but outside of London, where we have many people selling up in London to buy in what they perceive to be safer places. This ought to be more generally frightening. In government, there are plenty of people who understand fully the gravity of the situation, though it is still career-wise terminal to speak about it openly. But that awareness is what scared them so greatly about the Raise the Flag movements, which are ongoing. When already divided communities start to demarcate their territory in ways such as that, it is a strong sign that that society is approaching its flashpoint. The main tactic in this second sort of civil war, the balkanized form of civil war, will be a very old one. It will be the siege of urban areas with a few 21st century twists. In many ways, it will be reminiscent of the siege of Sarajevo, but much more dominated by paramilitary actors using system disruption tactics. Most importantly, infrastructure attack, to degrade or destroy the life support systems of urban non-native enclaves. How much time do I have left?
Please continue.
Okay, feel free to prod me if I'm going over time. The political object of this conflict is very simple, in this conflict is very simple. It is to compel non-natives to leave. The strategy is to create conditions of life in the cities that are so intolerable that leaving is preferable to staying. The tactics are relatively simple. They require few sophisticated weapons, or in fact no weapons, and are quite hard to guess. To guard against. When I say it requires no weapons, the appropriate weapons for infrastructure attack are things like angle grinders, sledgehammers, and perhaps acetylene torches and the like. It's not an implausible theory of victory because its central premise, which is the instability of the modern urban condition, at the best of times, is something which scholars of urban studies have been warning against for 50 years already. Again, in red team simulations of this sort of conflict, players often resolve on attacking the fuel distribution system, particularly the petrol stations of cities that are targeted for disruption. Again, the logic is simple and devastating. Fuel systems are easy to attack. They're flammable, if not explosive by definition. They are difficult to repair and expensive to replace. In fact, they're impossible to replace in civil war conditions where there is no insurance available. Moreover, disruption of fuel has very rapid knock-on effects on everything else logistically, most importantly the food distribution system, which is the traditional weapon of siegecraft. In summary...
Yep. Yeah, this is like, it's all very detailed. Sorry if that bores you. I mean, I find this incredibly fascinating even just watching it again. This is all very valuable information. A lot of detail. So I hope you appreciate it. If you don't, well then fuck off, retard. How about that? You could just go fuck yourself, okay? Dipshit. Go hang around people that don't make you feel as retarded as you really are. Fuck off. How about that? Or just enjoy the show and no worries about it.
Of what I've said so far, there's a lot of tinder. The country is a powder keg. You can choose your own metaphor. What will be the spark? The truth is that it is in the nature of sparks that no one can predict them precisely. Southport might have been one, which explains why the government reacted in the manner that it did, in a panic, betraying all the classic signs of decision-making under fear: tunnel vision, bias amplification, and cognitive overload. The trouble is that there's no shortage of potential flashpoints, because when you pile up the tinder everywhere, it's bound to catch light somewhere and to spread. I'm coming to the end. Where does balkanization lead us? I see two strong possibilities here. The first is that it leads effectively to the extinguishment of Britain in the sense of a coherent cultural entity dominated by people genuinely sharing the titular identity of British. In his essay, The Lion and the Unicorn, George Orwell supposed from the perspective of 1940 that there was a meaningful connection and a continuing obligation between the British, he was actually speaking of the English, of his time and the people of the same place in 1840, 100 years before, despite all the changes that had occurred in that 100-year period. His answer was a very decisive yes. On our current course, no one in 2040 could conclude the same thing. That connection between past, present, and future generations, which in fact is the essence of Burkean conservatism, will have been severed. Indeed, it will have been betrayed, in the sense that it didn't have to happen that way. It was rather an elite choice, going back to my earlier observation. The second...
the elites chose to do this. I mean, Alex Jones used to say that all the time. It's like, we could do better. They could just live in a meritocracy, but no, they chose this. They looked upon this absolutely devilish, monstrous plan, and they agreed. They signed to it like a contract of the devil, because they're fucking out of their minds. They need to be put out of their misery. Let me continue.
Possibility is that it leads to large-scale and widespread civil war, as I have described, with three primary belligerents. I've mentioned already the likely strategy and tactics that will be adopted. I think in the time remaining, I'll just say a few words about the role of government. When revolutions occur, probably the most important determinant of outcome is which way the army, or security services generally, decide to direct their loyalty. If it sticks with the government, then elites generally prevail. If the army goes with the people, then elites generally fail and they go to Madame Guillotine. If it stays neutral, then events might favor either side. What I'm about to say then is controversial, because I do not think that in the coming conflict, the military is going to play a decisive role. There are good reasons to conclude this. Some may surprise you. First, as is well known, Western armed forces are, by historical standards today, very small. They are also very focused on external expeditionary warfare, not domestic action, though many, including the British military, have a role in aid to the civil power, in which role they have some experience and have done some training. Second, police forces are also small, and that fraction of the police force which is specifically trained and equipped for the most arduous public order policing tasks is very, very small indeed. On top of that, the strengths in undercover policing and infiltration, which used to be based on old special branch, have been eviscerated. We know this because of evidence produced by the ongoing undercover policing inquiry. Basically, if you are not blathering online about what you intend to do, the government does not have a clue. The third, the political reliability of the rank and file of the armed forces is firmly rooted in the local native population. In Northern Ireland, we knew better than to try to deploy Irish regiments. Where is the government going to find non-English regiments to police England? The loyalty even of the top SAS is also dubious in my opinion, given that they have recently been targeted by lawfare on the part of their own government. My working assumption then is that the role of government and military and police forces in the coming conflict will mostly be neutral. To start, will focus essentially on securing as much as it can of elite enclave normality while letting events play out in the wider national sphere until the tipping point where elites detect who is going to win, then they'll join that team.
Yeah, right.
Beyond that, my confidence in my powers of future telling are exhausted. It is very possible that the Britons end up like the Canaanites or the Akkadians, a people of historical interest, their monuments visible here and there in some sort of ruination of interest to archaeologists and historians. That would be a tragedy, but that is a very viable option in front of us, and in fact it is a possibility that is quite close. So far I've talked rather qualitatively. People often think that's subjective, so I'm going to conclude with some numbers. People regard those as more objective, but they're wrong in that. But anyway, if you're comforted by numbers, here I will give you some. 31%. 31%, that is the number of respondents to a 2024 poll who agreed with the statement that civil war in the next 10 years was likely or very likely. Again, if that poll was taken today, I'd be astonished if it was not a larger number than 31%. 80% and 60% are the numbers of respondents in the same poll who felt that the country was respectively in a dire state and could only get worse. 9%. 9% is the number of Britons, according to the British Social Attitudes Survey, who agree that politicians may be fully trusted. 72% is the number of Britons who, according to the British Social Attitudes Survey, agree that politicians are only in it for themselves.
Yep.
53% of Britons, according to a Hansard report, believe that voting makes no difference to who is in power, which is the most commonly stated political opinion in the country. It is also a true statement according to a great deal of authoritative scholarly research. When it comes to disagreement between elite and street, as we see in the immigration debate, elite always wins. 100% it wins. People have noticed this fact, moreover. 32% agree with the statement that a great replacement is occurring, as I've mentioned. 60% and 17%. These are the numbers of Britons between the ages of 18 and 34 who agree, respectively, that some sort of hostile activism is permissible to drive change,
Crossing
and that
lines.
violence is included in this permissible category. So 17% of 18 to 34-year-olds think that violence is permissible to drive change. If you're wondering what the overall number is, that's 2.25 million people, which is a pretty good recruitment pool, I'd suggest. 31% is the number of Britons who concluded in a study done last summer with the statement, when I think about the political and social institutions of this country, I can't help but think, burn it all down. 4 to 11 is the average length in years of civil wars in the post-1945 era. There are a range of estimates. I conclude with that number because I don't think that civil war can be avoided. I think the minds of responsible, smart people like yourselves now should be on mitigation strategies. How do you minimize the damage that is going to occur? The most important factor in minimizing damage is reducing the duration of conflict. This is going to happen, in my opinion, probably sooner than you think, and there are serious, well-grounded historical and empirical reasons to believe that the most important thing is to get it over with fast. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I mean, that was definitely well worth watching through a second time. What an epic. What an epic speech. If you think so too, then don't forget to Rogan's it up. And hey, I got the link right here. I could give it to you. If anybody cares out there, maybe you want to share this. Here's the X link in the Rumble chat, only visible to those who actually watch my show live. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll have to read it off my Discord screen here. Okay, you can do it. Oh, you could do that, probably. But, yeah, I mean, good luck. It's very tiny. You have to put it in a big screen and then, like, do a photo shoot and an AI interpretation and... I don't know, maybe you have an AI that could just immediately find it. Whatever. It's a good video. And it's definitely like a thing worth sharing. Because it's so academic, it's so true. There's no politics in that. It's all pure academia. Right. Let's check this out. This another fantastical building. Look at this freaking thing. This looks like it's Austria. Or it's Italy. I'm not sure where this is. It's Europe at least, I know that for sure. Colosseum? With the music, crack it up, make it inaudible. Yeah, anyway, amazing. Like to see anything new being built like that. But no, we gotta have our square, ugly ass boxes. So you can feel miserable inside of them. Oh yeah, the guy found Tartarian map on here. It was pretty epic. But I don't know. I might save it for another time because I mean it's like the sound is all jumpy because my computer is getting a bit overheated. So I might save it for another time. But yeah, I'm very happy with the show, and I don't care how many assholes out there waste their time watching all the way and downvoting, doing that. It's no point. Like, nobody fucking cares. Nobody in the world cares that you do that. I don't care. People that bump into my channel don't care. People that know me don't care. Nobody cares. Right? It would probably be more shocking to the world if there was no downvotes ever. And the trolls, if I had no trolls whatsoever, that would be shocking to people. If they could actually manage to leave me alone, they could help themselves. They could stop their negative Arwin addiction. Well, anyway, if you're liking the show though, Rogan's it up. If you're watching this afterward, let's see, is there gonna be? Alright. Yeah. Got some terrorist stuff. Viruses are fake. I've been having great discussions on Earth Awakenings and worldwide debates, as long as the trolls don't bump in, because then it's over quickly. I don't know why they have to do that. I mean, there's some great guys out there that are like flat earthers and not like that at all. Esotericists, basically Christian eclectics, kind of like myself. And I can just have magnificent conversation with them because I can just do my esoteric insights and they completely get it. And it's just a rejoicing for on my part and both of us. Almost feels like a bit of camaraderie back that I used to have with the Flat Earth Debates crowd before it all turned sour. But man, those fucking trolls out there, man. There's just people that just, ugh. They're not interested in understanding. They're just interested in tearing down everything that is good. They're nasty ass scum. That's all they care. Like, they're satanically just trying to gleefully explain to everybody, like with like pretty smart, sound reasoning, but very deceptive spiritually and emotionally, just how God is an evil, nasty figure. It's so disgusting, and they do it with glee. Like, they're actual Satanists, and they can't they can't let you have a nice conversation and let good things exist. They can't enjoy it. They have to tear it down. They're really fucking sick. Just tear down everything until there's nothing, only the void and meaninglessness. And then, I don't know, then they feel like they're okay or something. I don't know what the hell's behind it. I don't know if it's anything more than just compulsive behavior. I'd be surprised if they'd actually get anything out of it. It just feels like they're mostly doing it because the light just hurts them. Actual awareness and contact with the greater things like God, it just hurts them. And so they just try to tear it down everywhere. Just so they don't have to feel that connection, because for some reason it only hurts to them. Or it reminds them of the pain that you actually have to go through in life. And then they don't accept that. And they hold God responsible, so they're like literally like the devil, being envious, backstabbing scum. Should be put out of their misery. Yeah. I try to mostly avoid them. Right, but yeah, we're 47 minutes in. Wow, it's past 5 over here. Sun is still shining hot. Clouds still pretty much looking the same. The wind has picked up a little bit. That's kind of nice. I'm ready for lunch. Very hungry. Right, so I'm rounding out. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you liked this show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogan's it up. And if you haven't already, follow me on Rumble and Beer when I'm going live, which is normally 2 p.m. Amsterdam time every day. And please also do support me through the gift card, PayPal, Patreon, Gifts and Go. Links are on the description box below, or send me a super chat over to Rumble Live when the show is live, or subscribe to my channel. Support me that way. Support would be greatly appreciated. And I really please support the local Darwin. Right, back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 2673 on a Wednesday. Hope to see you all then. Everybody have a great rest of this Tuesday, and until the next video, keep it flat.
derp derp derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derp